The unraveling of Ayesha Curry's public persona didn't happen overnight. It unfolded slowly, quietly at first, then suddenly all at once, like a storm gathering strength over still waters. In the early years, she was framed as the perfect partner to Steph Curry, the rising NBA superstar who would soon change the league forever. She played the role of the dutiful wife with confidence, keeping away from spotlight-chasing behavior, protecting her privacy, and presenting herself as a grounded, traditional woman who valued home life above everything. But somewhere along the way the tone shifted. The calm exterior began to crack. The public statements grew bolder, edgier, and less flattering. The frustrations that might have once been whispered in private began spilling into microphones and podcasts. People who once saw her as the wholesome counterbalance to Steph's fame suddenly saw something different. A woman battling internal conflicts, insecurities, unmet desires, and a growing resentment toward a life she once embraced. The world watched as her comments began revealing a deeper struggle, one rooted in a longing for validation outside of her marriage. Her remarks about not receiving attention from other men signaled a turning point. It exposed a craving that struck many as both surprising and unsettling, especially because Steph had always shown her so much public admiration. That moment cracked open a conversation about self-worth, fame, and envy. It also ignited a firestorm of criticism from voices like Kevin Samuels, who pointed out the imbalance between what Ayesha expected and the reality of her own influence. The notion that she wanted to be seen, wanted to feel desired, created a disconnect between her public image and her private insecurities. Suddenly, her narrative shifted from loyal wife to a woman who felt overlooked in the shadow of her husband's massive success. As time went on, her interviews became more emotionally revealing. She hinted at regrets, at dreams she felt she had put aside, at the loss of an identity she believed she could have had if life had taken a different turn. She began to frame motherhood and marriage as constraints rather than blessings, speaking openly about sacrifices she felt were one-sided. To many, this wasn't simply a woman voicing frustration. It sounded like a breach of respect for the very life she had built alongside Steph. People began asking why she seemed so unhappy when living a life many would consider extraordinary. They wondered what she was truly searching for and why she seemed to be directing her dissatisfaction toward the man who had always supported her. This perception only grew as she embraced a new public image, one far more dramatic and expressive than her earlier years. The clothing changed. The tone changed. She appeared alone more frequently, seen in new circles, vacationing without Steph, showcasing her body online in ways that sharply contrasted with her old stance of modesty. To her supporters, it looked like a woman finally claiming her independence. But to her critics, it painted the picture of someone trying to escape the confines of a stable marriage in search of excitement she believed she missed out on. This shift became the fuel that made the later rumors so believable, not because there was proof, but because her behavior created the impression that she wanted something beyond what she had at home. That is why, when Tekashi 6ix9ine dropped his shocking claim about allegedly being involved with her, the internet didn't pause to question its plausibility. The rumor spread like wildfire because it aligned too perfectly with the narrative she had been crafting for years. Whether the accusation was true or pure trolling, the damage was already done. The suggestion alone was enough to spark conversations about loyalty, boundaries, and respect within their marriage. People watched Steph, a man who carried himself with dignity and grace, and wondered how he might feel seeing his wife repeatedly give the public reasons to doubt her commitment. It wasn't just about one rumor. It was about years of statements and behavior that painted a picture of a woman struggling with her identity and her marriage at the same time. And yet, despite the growing scrutiny, Steph never lashed out, never hinted at troubles, never exposed private issues. He maintained the same calm, supportive demeanor he always had. But the contrast between his silence and her transparency made the situation even more lopsided. The public saw a man protecting his family's image while his wife continuously opened the door to criticism. The speculation became louder. Was she bored? Was she unfulfilled? Did she envy her husband's success to the point of resentment? People began piecing together a narrative that suggested she saw Steph as both her blessing and her burden. A man who gave her the life she lived but also overshadowed any individual identity she tried to build. The truth is, relationships built under the weight of fame rarely remain untouched by insecurity. For someone like Ayesha, who stepped into adulthood alongside a man destined for greatness, The pressure to define herself outside of his orbit may have grown heavier with each passing year. The world celebrated Steph's triumphs, his championships, his record-breaking moments, his cultural impact. Meanwhile, Ayesha struggled to carve out her own lane. Even when Steph tried to highlight her talents, her businesses, and her projects, the public still associated her success with his name. And perhaps that is where the resentment took root, in the belief that she could never fully step out of his shadow. When rumors arise in an environment built on public perception, they stick not because they are true, but because people find them believable. And the reality is, Ayesha's journey from supportive wife to outspoken figure made many believe she was chasing a different kind of validation. Whether she acted on those desires or not, the narrative she built made it harder for people to defend her when accusations surfaced. She created the stage on which these rumors could thrive. Now the world watches not because they want the Curry marriage to fall apart, but because the tension has become undeniable. Everyone wonders whether Ayesha will continue pushing the boundaries of her marriage or whether she will pull back and refocus on the foundation she and Steph built together. Will she continue down the path of public transparency that invites speculation and doubt, or will she choose to reaffirm her partnership with the man who has always supported her? And that leads to the bigger question the world keeps asking. How long can a marriage survive when only one person is fighting to protect its dignity? So what do you think? Is Ayesha Curry misunderstood or spiraling into the consequences of her own actions? Do you believe the rumors, or do you think people are projecting narratives onto her because of how she presents herself? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another deep dive story.